I have some examples of that I can show as well. Another cool thing we've done here is we coppiced this tree right about here, right as it was flowering, and now it's producing really big fruits right in arm's reach where it's very easy for us to pick them instead of it growing really, really high. So again, just directing that energy into food production rather than just, you know, arbitrary growth kind of thing. So with that, go ahead and come up here, and again, you can see it everywhere. So brand new growth. Brand new growth. You know, these are all trees that we've been doing a lot of control variable experimentation with, trying different biofertilizers. There's definitely an example I want to show you up here. Happens a lot less than it used to though. We've chopped out a lot of these stumps. Look at this nice little bridgeway. Cool. So as far as the kind of strategy we took for bringing all these trees in. So what we did is, with a general food forest, you're going to follow the natural line of succession from pioneer plants, things like weeds, to grasses and herbs and shrubs, all the way to trees. What we're able to do with the manner in which we designed this food forest was, instead of doing that in a very slow format, we basically just concentrated our soil fertility as much as possible. So what I mean by that is that because we have the labor to support it, we came in here and we actually dug out really big holes about that big and then about that deep for every single tree that we put in here. And for most of those trees, what we ended up doing was, again, we're trying to add as much organic matter as possible so that they can establish their root systems very, very easily. So we were adding things like biochar, compost. We put sticks at the very bottom to aid in aeration. We put brown leaves in there. And what that did then is, again, it makes it very, very easy for that tree to establish itself and get that root system out there so that it's good and strong and more resilient. Another thing we added to these trees is we took a lot of soil from our forest up here in zone 5. So zone 5, we don't really mess with that a whole lot, but we took soil from that zone 5 and we mixed it in with our soil medium that we use to plant our trees. The reason for that is that we're hoping that that soil from the forest is going to inoculate our root systems with mycorrhizal fungus. Mycorrhizal fungus is this just very, very effective microorganism that essentially creates a symbiotic relationship with the tree roots. It attaches onto it and surrounds it with its hyphae. It starts sending that hyphae out. It grows way, way faster than a root system can. And what it does then is it's able to mine for elements and mine for things like phosphorus, and it helps with getting lots and lots of water to that tree and helping with drought resistance. And what you get then is, over time, if that mycorrhizal fungus actually does get inoculated to that tree root, is that these trees that start as a bunch of islands and they're separate, over time, as that mycorrhizal fungus grows, it's going to interconnect these trees and create a network where they're actually going to be able to trade elements and help maximize water efficiency and all that kind of stuff, and they're going to grow very, very well if that happens. So that's why we added forest soil to it. So to give you another example of why we did that as far as concentrating our soil fertility and whether or not it works, come with me this way. So this is a hummingbird tree, again a nitrogen fixing tree. It's very, very useful. It's going to create a lot of green biomass for us that we can use to chop and drop and mulch for the rest of our trees. But this hummingbird tree we used as a control. So we didn't put any biochar, no compost, no organic matter, no nothing. We basically dug a little hole, we put the tree in the ground, and that's our control. So you see how that's growing, yeah? Okay, so that's a hummingbird tree. This is also a hummingbird tree. So this is one that we actually put the biochar and the compost and the organic matter. And I don't know, to me it looks like it's actually working. So it does seem to help quite a bit. So this is, again, one of our hummingbird trees. This is another recommendation from Crew Omnoy. And another thing to go off of that, as you're looking out, I mean, there's up to 130 trees out in this food forest. And some people might think, oh, well, you've got way too many trees. Well, yeah, but the point is that, again, we're able to absorb that risk. And over time, as the system kind of stabilizes itself, the trees are going to grow. And the weak ones will die out, but the strong ones will be our producers. So they will ultimately outcompete the weak ones, And when it's all said and done, if anything, we might have to take out a couple trees, but that's a far better position to be in rather than not having nearly enough trees. So again, risk absorption is something we're able to do here that's very, very useful in helping to make sure that we are going to get this food forest established. So there's all kinds of trees out here, and over time, you know, we'll be able to figure out which ones are going to be our main producers, and we'll be able to maximize our space, and the other ones, you know, will either die back or they'll be cut out, whatever we need to do. So no problem with that. We're okay with that issue. So if you want to follow me this way, you don't have to come up here very far. You saw in the first video, this used to be on the other side of the fence. This is just a natural frog pond here. We basically packed it down with boulders to compact the clay as much as possible. So it actually does hold some water. When I come out here at 4 in the morning, this place is croaking. There's all kinds of frogs out here. So I just stepped on a butterfly pea. Damn it. Oh, damn it. That's okay. We got lots and lots of butterfly pea growing out here. So there's also all kinds of wildflowers that we planted out here. So you can see them starting to come up now. We threw some compost down. And again, one of the really cool things that we're doing here is just working to create natural ecosystems. So it's honestly, what's going to be really cool is to see this place in like 2 months when all these plants are coming up and it's become a very diverse natural ecosystem. It's going to look really, really beautiful as well, and it's going to be functional. So that'll be really cool to see. Obviously, it's very young right now. And right behind you here, we got our pumpkin patch. So all the things you see in here, all these little sticks, it's where we planted all kinds of pumpkins, so you can see it coming up here. And with that pumpkin, again, that's going to be natural ground cover that as they grow, they're going to start kind of creeping out and crawling all over this area. And yeah, so it's just going to be a pumpkin patch here. We got some avocado trees here. And man, avocados are tough to grow. But hey, we've still got 4 that are doing pretty well. So we're pretty happy about that. Hoping that they survive. The one up at the top actually looks the best. But yeah, I mean, they're still surviving, so they're doing pretty good. So another thing too that's worth mentioning within this area, again, as far as looking at how you maximize water efficiency, when we designed and developed this land, what we initially saw was that we were getting sediment that was running down this area, which tells us that we're getting some soil erosion. So what we ended up doing is, this is actually something we tackled last year, but we dug out this frog pond, and then if it ever rains a lot, so if there's any chance of floods, what'll happen is that water is going to come down, it's going to fill up this frog pond. If it ever gets high enough, it's actually going to run into this overflow, and this is one of our swales, and it runs down a channel that way, and then there's a second swale, as you can see right here, that'll take it all the way back. Again, just trying to spread that water out as much as possible, enable it to slow down and sink into the ground as much as possible. So that's what we're doing out here as far as our swale system. Another thing too that we've been doing with our swale system, out here in the tropics, everything happens really, really fast. So, you know, it's really, really dry, there's no water, and then all of a sudden there's all kinds of water and everything grows very, very quickly. And all of the leaves that the trees dropped when it was really dry out and they didn't have any water, if you just let those leaves just lay on the ground, a lot of times they're just going to get washed down the hill and you're going to lose all your nutrients and all that kind of stuff. And so what we're looking at, again, is catching and storing energy. Nutrients is part of that. So all of the weeds and everything that we've been bushwhacking out of here, we're piling them into our swales. The reason for that is that it's kind of like a natural composting system. So they're going to biodegrade over time, and especially as it rains, it's going to kind of create this like marshy bog area that's going to be loaded with all kinds of diverse microorganisms in here. And especially too, as